Projects of any scale are inherently subject to challenges. Common obstacles include resistance to change, often stemming from fear of the unknown, disruption to established practices, personal beliefs, or vested interests. Additionally, constraints such as limited resources, time, and conflicting priorities can further complicate project execution. To achieve successful outcomes, strategic planning and adaptability are essential for effectively addressing both resistance and constraints. In this episode of S&P Knowledge Series, let's discuss on the topic, Project Challenges, Resistance and Constraints. Authored by S.N. Panigrahi. Certified PMP, Authorized Training Partner, ATP, Instructor, PMI USA, Fellow Institution of Engineers, FIE, Chartered Engineer, Certified Lean Six Sigma Black Belt, Corporate Trainer, Mentor and Author, Special Invitee Board of Studies Symbiosis Center of Distance Learning. Resistance and constraints are two prevalent challenges encountered by project managers. Although they may appear similar, they possess distinct characteristics and require tailored strategies for mitigation. This discussion will delve into the key differences between these two obstacles. Definition: resistance is active opposition or refusal to accept a project or its goals by stakeholders, people. It often stems from personal beliefs, fears, or vested interests. Constraints are limitations or obstacles or restrictions on resources, time, scope, or other impediments of technology or process that impact and hinder project progress. They can be internal, example, lack of resources, or external, example, regulatory hurdles. Causes: resistances are driven by emotions, fear, or uncertainty about change. Constraints are external or internal limitations, such as budget, regulations, or physical resources. Nature: resistances are human-centric challenge that evolves with stakeholder perception. These are psychological and behavioral opposition. Constraints are structural, operational or technical challenges often tied to quantifiable limitations. Reactions: resistances are often involves direct actions like protests, sabotage, or withholding support. Constraints may be more passive, such as resource limitations or bureaucratic delays. Impact: resistances can lead to delays, decreased morale, and sabotage of project efforts. Constraints may restrict project scope, timelines, or resource allocation. Major causes of resistance. 1. Stakeholder reluctance to change. Stakeholders may resist new processes or technologies, fearing disruption of the status quo or unfamiliarity with new systems and uncertainty about their new roles. 2. Lack of trust in leadership. Resistance emerges when stakeholders doubt the competence or intentions of project leaders, causing disengagement. Without top management's active support, projects may face passive resistance, affecting team motivation and resource allocation. 3. Poor communication. Insufficient or unclear communication about project objectives, benefits, and timelines leads to misunderstanding and resistance. 4. Perceived threat to job security. Employees may resist if they believe the project will eliminate or diminish their positions within the organization due to automation or restructuring, leading to delays and productivity drops. 5. Loss of control. Resistance occurs when individuals feel their autonomy or influence over their work is being diminished by project initiatives. 6. Cultural incompatibility. A project that clashes with the existing organizational culture may face pushback from employees who feel it disrupts established norms. 7. Inadequate involvement in decision-making. Stakeholders who feel excluded from project decisions, may resist due to a lack of ownership or alignment with project goals. 8. Past negative experiences and team conflicts. Previous failures or disappointments in similar projects can cause skepticism and opposition toward new initiatives. Also, interpersonal conflicts within the project team may result in resistance to project collaboration. 9. Lack of perceived benefits. When individuals fail to see clear, direct benefits from the project, they may resist its implementation, deeming it unnecessary. 10. Change management issues. Resistance to change, lack of proper planning, and insufficient stakeholder involvement. Also, continuous or frequent project changes can lead to exhaustion, resulting in resistance due to overburdening and lack of enthusiasm. Major causes of constraints. 1. Budget limitations. Insufficient financial resources restrict the scope of work, potentially leading to reduced quality or incomplete project outcomes. 2. Time constraints. Unrealistic deadlines or tight timelines, often imposed by external factors like market competition or regulatory mandates, can limit thorough project execution. 3. Resource shortages. Limited availability of human resources, financial, materials, or equipment may hinder project activities, causing delays and bottlenecks. 4. Scope creep. Uncontrolled changes in project scope, leading to increased costs and time. 5. Vendor management challenges. Difficulties in managing external vendors or suppliers. 6. External factors. Economic downturns, regulatory changes, or natural disasters. 7. Risk management failures. Inadequate risk identification, assessment, and mitigation. 8. Quality control problems. Poor quality assurance can result in defects, rework, and customer dissatisfaction. 9. Regulatory compliance. Adhering to industry standards, legal requirements, regulatory changes, environmental regulations, economic downturns, or natural disasters can impose additional constraints on project timelines and costs. 10. Technological limitations. Outdated or incompatible technology infrastructure may restrict the implementation of innovative solutions, slowing down project advancement. Now let's understand resistance and constraints with some examples. Resistance. Employees fear job loss due to automation. IT department resisting cloud migration due to security concerns. Employees resisting changes to work processes due to new ERP system. Local residents protesting a new highway. Community opposition to a new power plant. Workers are refusing to use new safety equipment. Environmental activists opposing a new dam. Union resistance to changes in work practices. Workers fearing job insecurity due to new projects that may reduce manpower requirements. Constraints. Lack of IT budget for necessary software. Compatibility issues between legacy systems and new technology. Inadequate network infrastructure for remote work. Regulatory hurdles for obtaining permits. Limited access to land for construction. Scarcity of skilled labor in the construction industry. Lack of funding for infrastructure maintenance. Supply chain disruptions affecting material availability. Economic downturn impacting demand for construction projects. Challenges in a project often arise from resistance, such as human reluctance to adopt change or misalignment of stakeholder interests, leading to delays and disengagement. Constraints, on the other hand, are operational limitations like resource scarcity, budgetary restrictions, and regulatory demands that impose boundaries on the project's scope, execution, and outcomes. Managing both effectively is critical to project success. Now let's discuss how to address and mitigate resistances and constraints. Addressing and mitigating resistance. In any project, resistance can arise from stakeholders' fear of change, lack of trust, or misalignment with project objectives. Effectively addressing and mitigating resistance is crucial to ensuring smooth project execution and achieving long-term success. Let's discuss how to address and mitigate resistance. 1. Transparent and effective communication. Clearly articulate project goals, benefits, and impacts to all stakeholders, ensuring transparency and understanding. Proactively engage stakeholders to understand their concerns and address them openly. 2. Stakeholder engagement. Involve stakeholders early in the decision-making process to increase buy-in, build ownership, and reduce resistance to change. 3. Change management. Implement structured change management strategies, including training, support, and phased rollouts to ease transitions. 4. Building trust. Foster trust through consistent leadership, accountability, and delivering on promises, which reduces skepticism and opposition. 5. Addressing concerns. Actively listen to and address individual concerns or fears, providing reassurance regarding job security, roles, and benefits. Clearly communicate the benefits of the project to all stakeholders, highlighting how it will positively impact the organization and individuals. Addressing and mitigating constraints. Addressing and mitigating constraints requires a comprehensive approach that considers the interconnected nature of project factors and involves proactive planning, flexible adaptation, and effective communication. Here are some of the approaches to address and mitigate constraints. 1. Identify constraints and plan realistically. Perform thorough analysis to identify constraints early and develop realistic plans that account for these limitations to avoid disruptions. 2. Prioritize constraints and optimally allocate resources. Rank constraints based on impact and urgency, ensuring optimal allocation of resources where they are most needed. 3. Leverage innovations and adapt latest technology. Embrace cutting-edge technologies and innovative solutions to overcome constraints and enhance project execution. 4. Regulatory navigation and ensure compliance. Stay informed on regulatory requirements and integrate compliance measures into project planning to avoid legal complications. 5. Risk and resilience management. Proactively identify risks and develop resilient strategies to mitigate their impact, ensuring smooth project continuation. 6. Communicate, negotiate, and reach agreements. Foster open communication, negotiate effectively, and establish agreements that address constraints while aligning with project goals. 7. Continuously monitor and control. Regularly track progress against constraints and make adjustments as needed to maintain control over project outcomes. 8. Sustainable actions. Implement sustainable practices that consider long-term impacts and reduce the likelihood of constraints re-emerging in future projects. Addressing these aspects ensures smoother project execution, fostering alignment, collaboration, and resilience against disruptions. This approach ensures a structured and adaptable strategy for managing project constraints, promoting success despite challenges.
Thank you. For more details contact SN Panigrahi at the below contact details.